It's finally time for the last preseason pick of this NBA season's most intriguing players. To keep our picks free from superstars you already know, like Antetokounmpo or Kevin Durant, we instead went with evaluating younger players who possess a hint of that X factor in their shots on the court. So keep watching for our top 5 list of this season. Firstly, what does most intriguing player mean? If you've been watching the 2021-2022 season closely, then you will have noticed that besides some of the big names, there was a lot of talent that went unnoticed and unappreciated. So now, it's time to finally shine the light on them. We scoured through the campaign and curated the top 5 based on our criteria, which doesn't look at how big and how fast they scored, but how will these players finish the year from the point they started from. These young upcomers could be the future of the NBA if they play their cards right and keep on getting better. The results are in after we meticulously calculated our final decision by averaging everyone's rankings. Starting with number 5, Tyrese Haliburton of the Indiana Pacers. Haliburton is aware of the franchise-defining gamble Indiana made when they swapped Domantas Sabonis for him and sent him to the Sacramento Kings. That Haliburton might be more than just a second-rate player whose flashy brilliance and extroverted demeanor attract everyone. The Pacers staked him on being an all-star and an essential offensive powerhouse. He needs to reevaluate his strategy and perhaps even his basketball soul because of the change. He was born to be selfless and read defenses 2 steps in advance and gets rid of the ball quickly. Early ball movement inspires teammates, throws defenses off guard, and starts rapid passing patterns. But he must score for the Pacers, which may require him to hold the ball for a little longer or take an extra step. Rarely does Haliburton reach the rim or the line. Any defense that places 2 defenders on the ball can be destroyed by him, but he lacks the blow-away burst necessary to reliably fry quick power forwards on switches. But he makes up for it with skill though. He will put in the effort and lead by example for the team. During his rookie season, the Utah Jazz thrashed Sacramento by 49 points. Instead of lifting weights after the game, Haliburton asked 2 staff members to accompany him to the practice court. Haliburton continued to play until he sank a total of 343 triples, 49 of which he made from 7 different positions, 1 for each point in the scoring margin. And finally, at around 1 in the morning, he returned to his home. And scarily, he is equally dedicated to his new squad. Next at number 4, Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Edwards entered his first postseason with the air of someone who had been waiting for this his entire life. As Karl Anthony Towns struggled with foul trouble, he took control of Minnesota's offense and averaged 25 points per game. He used crossovers and delay movements to captivate the defenders before leaping over or zipping through them. In defense, he pursued and followed Ja Morant. He exuded the fearlessness and composure that only celebrities possess, and he appeared to be having a great time. The amount of work still needed is hidden on those nights when Edwards seems unstoppable. He has shot below average from practically every position. Like any developing scorer, he has occasionally had trouble passing the ball, missing passing lanes, and holding onto the ball for too long. In pick and rolls and isolations, he was among the least effective ball handlers among high-volume players. However, the base is so solid, and as a passer, he appears to be aware of the way forward. Edwards has expressed a desire to be a defensive stopper and possesses the skills to accomplish that. Since he is quick and balanced, he can glide in time. He can wall off practically anyone's chest to the chest while maintaining control and closing out on shooters. He is a unique wing who provides a mean rim guard. His basics and focus may weaken, and he may start to watch the ball for too long and lose track of his mission. He occasionally veers too far away from shooters because he is so assured of his speed and leaping. However, Edwards views the game from the defense. He highlights coverages and has all the ingredients of the player Minnesota needs him to be. All that needs to be done is to channel them in the right way. Moving on to number 3, DeAndre Hunter of the Atlanta Hawks. Hunter, who recently agreed to a 4-year, $95 million agreement, is a prime example of how difficult it can be for young athletes to settle into a routine as injury setbacks prevented him from fully extending his momentum. He has switched between roles but never seemed at ease in any of them. He has always been a stiff isolation player, unable to go around larger defenders and without the quickness or dexterity to get past wings. After hitting 54% in 23 games in 2020-21, he only hit 39% on mid-rangers this season. He has done well putting up with mismatches, and Atlanta's pick and rolls with Hunter resulted in nearly 1.12 points being scored per possession. His primary responsibility is spotting up, but he hasn't been effective enough. He attempted a career-low 3.7 shots per game last year, but he made 37.5% of his long-range shots, so he isn't exactly viewed as a deadly shooter by teams. Having trouble making decisions is the main issue. In his career, he has made 201 errors and 224 assists. He makes passes too late and misses open players. After catching a kick-out pass, he occasionally overthinks the play, pass faking, and jab-stepping at ghosts to give the defense time to adjust. But he undeniably makes a good defense. DeJounte Murray's entry should encourage him to play on bigger wings and stretch fours where he excels. Hunter might be the standout role player every contender needs if everything everything works out. His path in the NBA is compared by Jerome to his experience at Virginia when he went from a freshman to a top 5 pick. Up next, number 2, Obi Toppin of the New York Knicks. When Toppin plays, good things happen, and the Knicks are on the track to find out why. Despite sidelining his talent as a dynamic screen and dive player, New York has played Toppin nearly exclusively with rim-running centers. He could play the center position or be paired with Julius Randle to help New York with this problem, but they are probably concerned about jeopardizing their defense and rebounding, which are his weaknesses. His improvement as a shooter was shown in New York's final 10 games when Randle was primarily injured, and so all hell broke loose. He claims to be prepared to fire after spending the summer perfecting his shot. A more effective pump-and-drive game may be unlocked by improved shooting, which would draw opponents closer to the player. Compared to beating defenders in static situations, Toppin is far more effective when doing it in rotation. His game may excel even in cramped half-court situations. He is a playmaker with rapid hands-off and pin-downs. The opposition center can block him if he reaches the hoop before they cross the lane. He is one of the fiercest end-to-end runners in the league and should be even more dangerous this season. He is a solid backup right now. That's what he'll be if he stays the same or gets better. But Toppin, as he exists right now, is a starter who is a tremendous offensive and an average defender. Finally, at number 1, Patrick Williams of the Chicago Bulls. Williams, who sometimes feels like a blank slate, may be the league's most crucial young X-factor. After missing most of the previous season because of a wrist injury, Williams has only appeared in 88 games in the last 2 years. He is just 21 years old, making him 8 first-round picks younger than Edwards. He came back for the playoffs the previous year and accepted the responsibility of defending Giannis Antetokounmpo. He averaged 12 points, doubled his three-point output, and connected on 58% of his two-point attempts, showing a little increase in offensive energy. On defense, he hasn't performed up to expectations, but you can blame his youth and injuries for that. Williams is expected to develop into a very capable, highly switchable alpha defender. He makes such an effort and is big and strong. Last season, he tripled his screen-setting volume, and early signs point to more of the same this season. Williams is playing center and may even be an upcoming experiment for the Bulls. He is a good playmaking power forward when he is at his best on the court, but he falls short of Draymond Green's peak performance. But he is a really outstanding player and a combination of some of the best characteristics, and has the capacity to switch between those. Williams almost appears to be a different player when he loses his nervousness and turns aggressive. Whatever the case may be, we can't wait to see more. That's a wrap for this video, and thanks for watching. What did you think of our picks for the most intriguing players this season? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.